হে ভগৱান আজিও দেৰি হ'ল সদায় সদায় গালি খোৱাৰ দুৰ্ভাগ্য হৈছে মোৰ গাড়ী এখনো নাই অনলাইনে বুক কৰোঁ
পুতি গুড মৰ্নিং কি হ'ল ৰাতিপুৱাই তুমি মোক দেখি এনেকৈ মুখখন ঘূৰাই দিলা যে তোমাৰ মুখখন চাই ৰাতিপুৱাৰ পৰা মোৰ দিনটো আৰম্ভ কৰিম বুলি ভাবিছিলোঁ কিমান আশাৰে আহিছোঁ মই আৰু তুমি মুখখন ঘূৰাই দিছা বৰ দুখ লাগিলে জানা
তোমাৰ কি আৰু কাম নাই নেকি হা তোমাক মানা কৰাৰ পাছতো মোৰ পিছত এনেকৈ লাগি আছা যে
ইয়াক লাগি থকা বুলি নকয় এয়া মৰম এয়া মোৰ তোমাৰ প্ৰতি থকা আন্তৰিকতা মৰম ভাল পোৱা মই তোমাক ড্ৰপ কৰি দিম মেবি তোমাৰ লেটো হৈছে
মোক কি পাগল বুলি ভাবিছা নেকি যে মই তোমাৰ লগত যাম যোৱা ইয়াৰ পৰা
পুতি পুতি ৰবাচোন ইমান খং কৰিব নাপায় খং নামে চন্দাল মই তোমাক ৰাণীৰ দৰে লৈ যাম
শেখৰ এৰি দিয়া মোক
নেৰু
এৰিবলৈ কৈছো নে
নেৰু তুমি মোৰ লগত যাবই লাগিব মোৰ লগত কটোৱা সুন্দৰ সময়খিনিৰ কথা পাহৰি গলা তুমি আকৌ সেই সময়বোৰ ঘূৰাই আনো
শেখৰ মানুহবোৰে চাই আছে এৰি দিয়া
চাওক
শেখৰ প্লিজ এৰা তুমি যোৱা ইয়াৰ পৰা
তোমাক লগত লৈহে যাম আকৌ
শেখৰ
পুৱতি দেখোন তাইক কোনে টানি লৈ গৈছে ঐ কোন তই শেখৰ তই
শুন্দা চাচোন এই বদমাছটোৱে মোক তাৰ গাড়ীত উঠিবলৈ ফ'ৰ্চ কৰি আছে আৰু মই নুঠো বুলি কোৱাত সি মোক এনেকৈ টনা আজোৰা কৰি আছে
তোৰ ইমান সাহস তই আকৌ তাইৰ ওচৰৰ পৰা যা একদম আঁতৰ হ কি কৈছো শুনিছনে নাই
নুশুনো তোৰ কথা কি কৰিবি
পাহৰিলি এই গুণ্ডামিৰ কাৰণে তোৰ কি হৈছিলে মই এইবিলাক বাদ দিলোঁ তই যা যদি আকৌ জেলত যাবলৈ মন নাই তই যা ইয়াৰ পৰা
মনে মনে থাক তোৰ বাবে পোৱা কষ্ট মই জিন্দেগীভৰ নাপাহৰোঁ ইয়াৰ গোটেই হিচাপ মই গোটেই মোলে লওঁ চাই থাক
তোৰ কি লাগে মই তোক ভয় কৰি আছো শেখৰ মই কৈছো ভালে ভালে যায় ইয়াৰ পৰা হাত উঠাবলৈ বাধ্য নকৰাবি মোক কৈছো মই তোক এইবোৰ বাদ দিছো যা
তুমি যোৱা ইয়াৰ পৰা নহ'লে তুমি মোক অশান্তি দি থকা বুলি চিঞৰি ইয়াত মানুহ গোট খুৱাই দিম
শুনিলি নে কি ক'লে যদি ৰাইজৰ মাৰ খাব ইচ্ছা নাই ইয়াৰ পৰা যা
চাই ল'ম তোক
যা চাবি যা যি কৰ কৰিবি কিন্তু আজিৰ পৰা যদি পুৱতিক দিগদাৰ দিয়া আৰু গম পাওঁ তেতিয়া কিন্তু মই ধৈৰ্য নধৰিম যা শেখৰ যা
শুন্দা তই ভাল সময়ত আহি মোক আজি বচালি
তই ভয় নকৰিবি বল মই তোক থৈ আহিম আৰু যদি আকৌ দিগদাৰ দিয়ে মোক কবি হ'বনে
কম দে
হা
বল
হিচাপটো ল'মেই মই
তুমি আকৌ মোৰ ওচৰলৈ কিয় আহিছা তোমাক দেখোন মই মোৰ মতামত জনাইছোৱেই
যদি অহাৰ কাৰণে বেয়া পাইছা তেতিয়াহ'লে চৰি মই একচুৱেলি এনেই তোমাৰ এটা খবৰ ল'বলৈ আহিলোঁ অসম আহিছোঁ যেতিয়া তোমাক লগ নকৰাকৈ কেনেকৈ যাওঁ বেলেগ নহ'লেও আমাৰ বন্ধুত্বটো সদায় থাকিব ন যেনেকৈ তোমাৰ আৰু ত্ৰিদীপৰ মাজত আছে
তুমি কি ক'ব বিচাৰিছা
নহয় মানে তুমি ত্ৰিদীপক ভাল পোৱা কিন্তু ত্ৰিদীপে তোমাক জাষ্ট ফ্ৰেণ্ড বুলিহে ভাবে সি কিন্তু পৰীক্ষে ভাল পায় ইয়াৰ পিছতো তুমি ত্ৰিদীপৰ লগত যেনেদৰে সম্পৰ্ক ৰাখিছা ময়ো ঠিক তেনেদৰে তোমাৰ লগত সম্পৰ্ক কিয় ৰাখিব নোৱাৰিম কোৱাচোন আমাৰ মাজত নিস্বাৰ্থ সম্পৰ্ক এটা সদায় থাকিব যেনেকৈ তোমাৰ আৰু ত্ৰিদীপৰ মাজত আছে নহয়নে
হয় তুমি ত্ৰিদীপক লগ কৰিছা
কৰিছোঁ আচলতে মই সিহঁতৰ কাৰণেই আহিছোঁ তুমি চিন্তা নকৰিবা তোমাৰ মনৰ কথা মই ত্ৰিদীপক একো জনোৱা নাই আৰু নজনাওঁ কাৰণ তোমালোকৰ বন্ধুত্ব মই কেতিয়াও শেষ হোৱাটো নিবিচাৰোঁ মানে পৰিয়ে কথাটো জানিলে সহ্য নকৰিব ন
পৰিয়ে সহ্য নকৰিবলৈ তাইৰ জ্ঞানেই নাই মানে মই ক'ব বিচাৰিছোঁ বেচেৰীজনীলৈ মোৰ বেয়াই লাগে কি অৱস্থাত আছে দেখিছাই নহয়
দেখিছোঁ যিয়ে পৰীৰ এই অৱস্থা কৰিছে তেওঁ কিন্তু শান্তি নাপায় পৰীৰ দৰে ইমান ভাল ছোৱালী এজনীৰ লগত তেনেকুৱা অন্যায় কৰিব নালাগিছিল কোন হ'ব পাৰে কিবা আইডিয়া আছে নেকি তোমাৰ
মই কেনেকৈ জানিম পৰীৰ বা কাৰ কাৰ লগত শত্ৰুতা আছে অথবা কোনোবা প্ৰেমিক চেমিকো হ'ব পাৰে
হ'ব পাৰে নতুবা ত্ৰিদীপৰ শত্ৰু হ'ব পাৰে নাইবা কোনোবা প্ৰেমিকো হ'ব পাৰে যিয়ে পৰীক ত্ৰিদীপৰ পৰা আঁতৰ কৰিব বিচাৰিছে মই তোমাৰ কথা ভবা নাই তুমিও নাভাবিবা তেনেকৈ মই আন কোনোবা হ'ব পাৰে বুলিহে কৈছো তুমি যে পৰীক নিজৰ ভণ্টিৰ দৰে ভাল পোৱা ত্ৰিদীপে কৈছে মোক
মই পৰীৰ বিষয়ে বেয়াকৈ ভাবিবই নোৱাৰো বহুত ভাল পাওঁ তাইক
জানো মই বাৰু যাওঁ দিয়া মই তোমাক লগ পালো ভাল লাগিল
যোৱা
আকৌ নিশ্চয় লগ পাম আহোঁ
যোৱা
নাইবা কোনোবা প্ৰেমিকো হ'ব পাৰে যিয়ে পৰীক ত্ৰিদীপৰ পৰা আঁতৰ কৰিব বিচাৰিছে
গৌৰাংগই এনেকৈ কিয় ক'লে কেনেবাকৈ মোক
ডাঙৰ বাবা তই ইমান নিজ কাম কৰিবি বুলি মই ভবা নাছিলো আজি তোৰ বাবে মই বোৱাৰীৰ ওচৰত লজ্জিত তোৰ চৰিত্ৰ এনেকে স্খলন কিয় হ'ল আগতে তই এনেকুৱা নাছিলি বিবাহিত হৈ অন্য নাৰীৰ লগত ছি মোৰ ক'বলৈকে লাজ লাগিছে তই জিৰ আগত কেনেকে মুখ উলিয়াবি তাই দেখোন বুজি পালে তোক ঘিণ কৰিব ভাবিছ না এইবোৰ
দেউতা এতিয়া আৰু এইবোৰ কৈ লাভ নাই এওঁ জানি শুনি এইবোৰ কৰিছে হে দেউতা এতিয়া মই এটা সিদ্ধান্ত ল'ব বিচাৰিছো মই আৰু এই সম্পৰ্ক আগবঢ়াই নিব নিবিচাৰো
বোৱাৰী
হয় দেউতা জীৱে বুজি পোৱাৰ আগতে মই জীওক লৈ ক'ৰবালৈ গুচি যাম
জীও মোৰ ছোৱালী তাইক লৈ তুমি কলৈকো যাব নোৱাৰা
চুপ থাক তই এতিয়া জিও কথা মনত পৰিছে নীলাজ হন এতিয়া তই অনুক্ষমা খোজ আৰু আগলৈকো বিশ্বাসঘাতকতা নকৰো বুলি কওঁ
নালাগে দেউতা ক্ষমা খুজিব মনৰ পৰা যেতিয়ালৈকে নিজৰ ভুল বুজি নাপায় সেইবোৰ কৰি একো লাভ নাই
সুৰুজমুখী আপোনালোকৰ মনোৰঞ্জনৰ বাবে এই সপ্তাহৰ বিশেষ প্ৰশ্ন পুনৰ পেহীয়েকৰ নাম কি আছিল এ মেনকা বি মিনতি চি আৰতি ডি মেঘনা শুদ্ধ উত্তৰটি বাছনি কৰক আৰু আপোনাৰ নাম ঠিকনা আৰু বয়সৰ সৈতে প্ৰেৰণ কৰক আমাৰ হোৱাটছএপ নম্বৰ 7029880221 লৈ শুদ্ধ উত্তৰ দি লাভ কৰক প্ৰাইড প্লেক্সৰ বিশেষ উপহাৰ
We are looking at a document today that reads like an algorithm having a vivid, highly specific hallucination.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
Right. On the desk today is a piece of text that forces us to look under the hood of the automated systems we rely on every single day to parse our reality. So, welcome to the deep dive. You and I are going to be unpacking a highly fragmented, auto-generated transcript from a YouTube video uploaded exactly today, May 11th, 2026.
And to really ground this for you, the listener, we are looking at an excerpt from a regional television show called Surujmukhi. It's broadcast on the channel Rang TV.
Yeah, and this isn't just any episode, right?
Exactly. Specifically, this is a major milestone for them. It's episode 500. So we are jumping into a narrative that has built up, hundreds of episodes of momentum, character arcs, and dramatic tension.
Right, episode 500. I mean, you expect massive emotional payoffs. You expect fireworks. But the digital artifact we are left with, the machine's attempt to listen to this Assamese language program and convert it into text using an English default language model, gives us something entirely different.
It's a completely different experience.
It really is. The mission for today's deep dive is to figure out how to extract the actual signal from a sea of algorithmic noise. How do you find the narrative of episode 500 when the very first words on the transcript are literally will for online booty good morning foreign motor drop maybe tomorrow body.
Mm-hmm. It is a staggering sequence to see printed sequentially. I mean, it's just bizarre.
Okay, let's unpack this. How do we reconcile a polite good morning with a mention of a motor drop maybe tomorrow and online booty all in a single breath? Is this a surrealist script or a machine wildly misinterpreting audio?
It's definitely the machine. What's fascinating here is how we get from an Assamese television drama to the phrase, motor drop maybe tomorrow body. To understand that, we really have to break down the actual architecture of speech-to-text, or STT, models.
Right.
These models essentially operate in two distinct halves that are honestly constantly arguing with each other. You've got the acoustic model and the language model.
So the acoustic model is basically the ear, right? It takes the raw audio wave, chops it up into tiny slices, usually around 10 or 20 milliseconds each, and tries to map those specific frequencies to phones, the basic building blocks of sound.
That is the crucial first step, yeah. And the acoustic model in this case is actually doing a remarkably good job.
Really? Even with this output?
Surprisingly, yes. It is hearing the Assamese actors speak, and it is accurately capturing the shapes of those sounds, the hard consonants, the vowels, the fricatives, but then it hands that phonetic data over to the language model.
Ah, and that's where the problem starts.
Exactly. Because this system is aggressively defaulting to English, the language model takes those accurately captured Assamese sounds and basically forces them through an English probability matrix.
So, analyzing this text is like trying to read an ancient scroll where half the ink is washed away, except the scroll is a modern digital transcript. Or, it's like trying to rebuild a disassembled Assamese car using only an instruction manual for an English tractor.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
The physical parts exist and are real, but the architectural blueprint you're forcing onto them is completely wrong, so you end up with a tractor that has a steering wheel attached to the exhaust pipe.
That is the exact mechanism at play. The language model relies on n-grams and attention weights to predict the most statistically likely sequence of words. So when it receives a sequence of phonemes that vaguely resemble the English sounds for online booty, it doesn't pause to consider context.
It just blindly goes with it.
Yeah, it just calculates the highest probability path through its English vocabulary and prints the result.
I have to push back on that logic, though. I mean, I understand it's guessing based on probability, but it's choosing completely discordant concepts. It puts a polite good morning right next to motor drop maybe tomorrow.
It's very jarring.
Shouldn't a sophisticated modern language model realize that this string of words has zero semantic cohesion? Like, why wouldn't the model backtrack, realize motor drop maybe tomorrow, body makes no grammatical sense, and search for a different phonetic match that actually forms a logical English sentence.
Well, you're hitting on the limitation of real-time streaming transcription models compared to offline deep processing models. When processing video at scale, these algorithms often use a sliding context window that is incredibly narrow.
So they literally just don't have the time to look back.
Exactly. They don't have the computational luxury or the time to look 50 words backward and 50 words forward to ensure semantic cohesion. They commit to a high probability phonetic path in the immediate millisecond, print the text, and just move on. The system isn't trying to understand the plot of episode 500. It is simply playing a relentless game of phonetic Tetris, dropping blocks as fast as they appear.
Which perfectly explains why the anticipation of maybe tomorrow suddenly explodes into what reads like sheer chaos in the very next section of the transcript.
Right, the action section?
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting. The text accelerates into this block. It says, so shake her peace shaker, not sakor, dochek, forchek, for joy, good fighting for foreign, for heat foreign.
The kinetic energy of those words is undeniable. I mean, good fighting really sets the tone.
It reads like an action sequence. It's like an action movie script that was put through a paper shredder and taped back together in the dark.
Yes, absolutely.
But my question is about the breakdown of the model itself.
Yeah.
In this one short block, the machine spits out completely fabricated non-English words like sokor and dochech, but then it also repeatedly prints the bracketed word foreign.
7 times, actually.
Right. 7 times in this short excerpt. The model just stops and prints foreign. If it's willing to hallucinate a fake word like dochech, why does it suddenly give up and use a placeholder tag?
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, this gets into the math of confidence scores and softmax outputs. At the end of the neural network's processing layer, it assigns a probability score between 0 and 1 to its text prediction.
Okay, a confidence score.
Yeah. If the model predicts the word fighting with a 0.85 confidence score, it prints it. But these systems are programmed with a threshold. If the highest probability guess for a sequence of audio drops below a specific floor, say 0.3, the system is instructed to abandon the guess and output the foreign token.
So it's an algorithmic white flag.
It is. But think about what that means for you as someone trying to reverse engineer the events of episode 500. The system is literally handing you a map of the exact moments the audio diverges so wildly from its expected parameters that the math breaks down entirely.
That makes sense. But look at the rapid oscillation in the text. It prints good fighting, which imply the high confidence score, and then immediately fires off foreign, then hallucinates the English word heat and drops right back to foreign.
It's very chaotic.
Yeah, why is the confidence threshold fluctuating wildly in fractions of a second? Why wouldn't a prolonged Assamese dialogue just result in a solid block of foreign tags?
Well, because human speech is dynamic, especially in a milestone episode of a television drama. Think about what an action scene sounds like. You have overlapping shouts, percussive sound effects, heavy breathing.
Right, it's noisy.
Very noisy. And within that chaos, an actor might yell a syllable that happens to perfectly mimic a hard English plosive, temporarily spiking the model's confidence score for 50 milliseconds.
And boom, it prints a word.
Exactly. The model confidently outputs heat, but by the very next frame, the audio shifts back into unrecognizable broadband noise, the confidence score plummets, and the foreign tag returns.
It's marking the boundaries of its own intelligence. The foreign tags aren't just errors. They are the architectural footprint of an action sequence. The algorithm is being completely overwhelmed by the auditory data of the scene.
And that auditory data changes drastically as we move into the next phase of the transcript. We transition out of that chaotic, oscillating action sequence into something entirely different.
The shift is so jarring. We go from shaker, peace shaker to this incredibly hesitant, almost vulnerable string of text. It says, he's up to limways. Sorry, actually, for question high to me. I don't know. For Noah foreign. Okay.
The contrast in the syntax is what really stands out.
Right. And then it crashes immediately into, oh, you look sure. Can I walk? Heat, baba.
It's quite a transition.
So what does this all mean? We go from a very human, I don't know, to heat, baba. Yeah. Are we looking at an emotional peak in the drama of episode 500 or a total breakdown of the transcription software?
Well, let's look at the first part. Going from a highly fragmented, glitchy output to a grammatically sound English clause, I don't know. Are we supposed to believe the Assamese actor suddenly broke character and spoke perfect English?
I mean, probably not, right?
No, almost certainly not. It reveals how the language model relies on acoustic runways. During an emotional, dialogue-heavy scene, perhaps an apology or a quiet confession, actors slow their cadence. They articulate more clearly. There is way less background noise.
Oh, so the input is much cleaner.
Yes. This clear, slow phonetic data gives the language model the runway it needs to string together subword tokens into a high-probability, grammatically valid English structure. The model is smoothing out the data, the meaning is completely fabricated, but the syntax becomes flawless because the acoustic input was exceptionally clean.
The machine leverages the quiet of the emotional moment to build a better hallucination.
That's a great way to put it.
But that quiet moment crashes immediately into a loop. Heat, Baba. How does a model get stuck in a repetitive loop like that? Is it just differing?
No, it's actually actively transcribing the environment. Think about what happens in television production during a quiet, dramatic moment. The microphone game is often turned up to catch whispers.
Right.
This amplifies ambient noise. Maybe a pulsing dramatic synthesizer, a rotating fan, or even an actor's heavy breathing.
Oh, I see. The acoustic model registers that broad spectrum white noise.
Exactly. The acoustic model hears a repetitive, rhythmic rush of air. It maps that broadband frequency to an English fricative like the hard H sound. The language model receives a sequence of H and T sounds and outputs the highest probability word, which is heat.
And because the noise doesn't stop, the word doesn't stop.
Right. Because the environmental noise, the breathing or the wind doesn't change its frequency, the model's output doesn't change either. It just prints heat, 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 heat until the sound stops. It is literally transcribing the ambient tension of the room.
Which brings us to the most fascinating anomaly in this entire excerpt. Right at the end of that mechanical loop, we get the word Baba.
Yes, Baba is a phenomenal piece of data.
It's a term of endearment, widely used across South Asia, meaning father or child, or just a general term of affection. It sits right in the middle of this algorithmic breakdown like a completely human anchor. Why did Baba survive the translation intact when everything else was mangled into online booty and motor drops?
It survives because of cross-linguistic phonetic overlap. Baba relies on bilabial plosives.
Bilabial plosives.
What are those? Sounds made by bringing both lips together, like the B sound. It is an incredibly foundational human sound, which is why variations of it exist in so many global languages, including English.
Okay, so the model recognizes it.
Yes. When the Assamese actor said Baba, the acoustic model captured the bilabial plosives perfectly, and the English language model, recognizing a valid phonetic structure that exists within its own vast internet-scraped lexicon, simply allowed it to pass through unmodified.
It's a bridge between the two languages. But that bridge leads us to the final, most baffling and perfectly lucid piece of data in the transcript.
The sudden anchor.
Yeah, it's like wandering through a thick, confusing fog and suddenly walking smack into a clearly illuminated neon street sign. The text ends with what it is. One, it is a minor WhatsApp number, 700-29821.
It's a total paradigm shift in the model's behavior.
How is that possible? After struggling to parse basic human dialogue, after oscillating wildly between hallucinating and giving up, the model nails an 8-digit numeric sequence and a specific corporate brand name with flawless precision. How does it parse WhatsApp number 700-9821 out of the chaos?
This raises an important question about what data survives digital translation. It comes down to what these models are fundamentally optimized to achieve. You have to look at the training data distribution.
Meaning what they were built to look for.
Precisely. Automatic speech recognition systems are not engineered in a vacuum. They are built by major tech entities to extract commercially actionable data from human speech. While the model might struggle with the nuanced cadence of an Assamese emotional monologue, it has been rigorously and exhaustively trained to identify numbers and brand names.
Wait, are you saying the architecture is inherently biased to care more about a phone number than the actual human conversation?
Technically speaking, it is about the acoustic search space. Think of the English language. There are hundreds of thousands of words, many of which sound nearly identical, spoken in thousands of different accents.
Right, so the margin for error is huge.
Massive, which leads to high error rates. But there are only 10 digits, 0 through 9. Digits have highly distinct, tightly constrained phonetic boundaries. They are acoustic islands. The model can spot a digit in a sea of noise with incredibly high fidelity.
And the same applies to WhatsApp.
Yes. Named Entity Recognition, or NER, is often integrated directly into the STT pipeline. The lexicon is artificially weighted to boost the probability of globally standardized proper nouns.
So it's actively hunting for brands.
Yes. A brand name like WhatsApp has a universal phonetic signature that the model is specifically hunting for. When the show's announcer or character reads out a contact number at the end of episode 500, the cadence shifts. Numbers are spoken with hard consonants and deliberate pauses. The model's acoustic parameters snap into focus, the search space narrows, and it outputs the exact target data it was built to find.
That is the ultimate signal in the noise. We started this deep dive looking at what seemed like a broken machine randomly generating poetry. We analyzed the friction between an acoustic model mapping Assamese phonemes and a language model aggressively forcing English syntax, resulting in online booty.
And we watched the system wave an algorithmic white flag with its foreign confidence thresholds during that wild action sequence.
Right. We saw how ambient room noise caused a repetitive text loop of heat, 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 heat. And finally, we saw how the system's optimization for commercial data extraction resulted in the flawless transcription of a WhatsApp number.
The entire architecture of modern digital communication is laid bare in this single, fragmented paragraph. And if we connect this back to you, the listener, there is a crucial takeaway here about how you navigate the digital landscape.
Because we're all swimming in this stuff now.
Exactly. You are constantly interacting with algorithmically filtered content, automated summaries, and glitchy translations. The vital skill is not just reading the output, but understanding the mechanisms behind it. When you understand the friction between an acoustic model and a language model, a glitch is no longer just an error.
It becomes a diagnostic tool.
Exactly. It tells you exactly how the system thinks, what it values, and where its blind spots are.
It allows you to see the scaffolding behind the information you're given.
And more importantly, it allows you to find the human element hiding beneath that scaffolding, like the word Baba surviving intact amidst all that noise.
It completely changes how you view the fragility of the digital records we are creating right now. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. Fast forward 100 years. If this specific, highly hallucinated transcript is the absolute only surviving record of episode 500 of Surujmukhi, what will future digital archaeologists deduce from it?
It's a wild thought.
Will they assume heat was a cultural chant? Will they think motor drops were a key part of our infrastructure? Or will they possess the technical literacy to look past the algorithmic hallucinations and realize that underneath the broken machine ink, there was a very human story trying to be told?